Pierce. Not long after, 2 additional victims arrived at St. Francis Hospital. I don't have the words. I want to say to Secret's mom and loved ones that we are all so deeply sorry, that we are with them today in grief, in prayer, and with love. I want to say thank you to the doctors and the nurses and the whole team at St. Francis who tried all night. To save Secret's life. I want to say thank you to our police and our firefighters, our 911 dispatchers and all our first responders, and of course also to our community partners, Mothers United Against Violence, Compass Peace Builders, Hartford Communities That Care, those who were there last night and those who will be there in the weeks ahead to try to provide comfort and support and healing to her loved ones and to all of the victims and their families. Secret was a 7th grader at Milner Middle School. And a tragedy like this ripples outward in a community and affects so many. And so to all of her loved ones and friends and neighbors and classmates and teachers, everyone who was a part of her life, we all stand together with you today, and our team at the Hartford Public Schools and our partners throughout the city will do everything they can to support you and our community as a whole. As you can imagine, this is an ongoing investigation. There's not a lot that we can share about the investigation, although to the extent that you have questions, I will ask Lieutenant Boisvert, head of our Major Crimes Division, to address those. In a moment, I'm going to ask Superintendent Torres Rodriguez to talk a little bit about the support that we hope to provide. Well, I can't say much about the investigation. I do want to say this. There were 4 people shot last night. 3 of them had extensive firearm involvement and criminal history. Each of them sustained non-life-threatening wounds, and we hope for their swift recovery. And while I am sorry for the wounds that they experienced last night and hope that they recover quickly and heal in all ways, physical, mental, and in heart, I also call on them to share whatever they know, because I believe they know who fired the bullets that killed the 12-year-old girl. And I believe that one of the bullets that was intended for one of them took the life of a 12-year-old girl. And it is not acceptable not to cooperate with investigators, and it is not acceptable not to share the information you know about who took the life of a 12-year-old girl. That's not fair to her family, that's not fair to her loved ones, it's not fair to her memory, it's not fair to our community. Again, to Secret's family and loved ones and friends, I'm so sorry. We are heartbroken with you. And we will do whatever we can to support, knowing that everything we do will be nothing after what you've lost. Superintendent?
On behalf of Hartford Public Schools, we extend our heart to Secret, her family, her friends, and all of the educators that have been part of Secret's life. The mayor referenced when a tragedy happens, such as this one, it does have wide ripples. And to us, Secret was one of our beautiful and very capable students. And we have activated all of our crisis support teams, not just at Milner, also at Rawson, the elementary school, for example, that Secret attended, and across all of our schools. Teachers and educators and staff show up for our students every single day with a full heart, committed to making sure that our students are learning, that they're cared for. So when these very difficult moments happen, it touches them all. It touches all of us. So we've activated support, our partners, Hartford Communities That Care, Peace Builders, and the team at Connecticut Children's. We know that this is a weekend, and so we want to extend support to our families and our staff throughout the weekend. And so we will be sharing additional supports to our family. You know, trauma is not foreign to us in Hartford and in Hartford Public Schools. So it's really hard for us to compartmentalize or separate when events happen. And so while we are going to galvanize all of our supports and our partners, dealing with the trauma is an extended process. And so I know that we are committed to supporting one another in partnership. To Secret's family again, we extend our heart. Secret was a child, 12 years old. So we will have conversations in our group settings individually with our students to talk about what that means. What it means that a 12-year-old is no longer going to be with us in our classrooms, interacting and learning from her friends. That is really hard. That is really hard. I want to thank the mayor, his team, Hartford Police, and all of our partners, because I know that this is going to be a journey for us. We are deeply thankful at Hartford Public Schools for the partnership that everyone shows.
Thank you, Superintendent. We're a small city. There will be so many in our community who feel this loss deeply personally, and I have to say that many of us here know Secret's grandfather well. And so I want to say to him as well that we're with him both in heartbreak and in prayer. We're happy to take any questions.
I think the biggest question that's looming, and perhaps police can try to answer this, is who was she with at that scene? She wasn't near her house. She's sitting in a car. Why was she there?
I'm not sure we can answer that question today. Lieutenant Boisvert, if there's anything we can add, but we can't answer that question today.
Was there any connection between her and the three others?
That's not a question we can answer today.
Mr. Mayor, you've got gun legislation proposed at the Capitol. These kids who were involved that have the records, they have been impacted by this gun legislation?
That's a good question, Steve. The question is about the legislation that we have proposed, focused on serious firearm offenders, and whether any of the individuals who were involved as victims in this incident would have been affected by that legislation if it were in force. From what I've seen, I believe the answer is yes. And I should say that one of the individuals involved was a juvenile. I obviously can't talk about that individual. I can't really talk about any of the individuals by name. But the other two were adults under the law, and all three of them had extensive criminal history, including, I believe, multiple firearm arrests, and I believe in at least two cases multiple arrests for the use of a firearm. And again, it's early to say this for sure, but I believe that at least one of them was on probation last night. And I believe that another one was awaiting adjudication for a firearm-related offense.
I know police called us and told me that he had. So is this a more of a group gang-related incident, or is this
I don't think
more of
we
a
can't
personal dispute?
we can't answer that today. I think that I can share that. Give me one second.
Yeah.
I mean, what I can share is that the bullets were fired from a car that was moving at a high rate of speed down Huntington.
Say suspect or suspects? Like, are you looking for more than one person?
Are you able to tell us?
Did you have a question? I'm sorry, you got to speak up a little bit.
Just without having such an extensive like, you guys are potential danger. Is there any intervention that could prevent this? And these are the first shooting, the seventh shooting in the city?
So there are a few questions there. A number of these individuals are known to the Hartford Police Department. Some of them have criminal history in multiple cities, but I believe all of them have some criminal history here in Hartford. Again, I can't speak with too many details today, but we have put in place a number of non-law enforcement intervention efforts, including our hospital-based violence intervention effort, which will be working with those who were victims and survived last night, not just at the hospital, but in the days, weeks, and months ahead. We have built close partnerships with the groups I mentioned earlier and with others to provide sustained, more intense intervention and support to those who are most involved. I can't tell you today whether any of the three who were involved last night were a part of any of those specific intervention efforts. But that work is vitally important. As you know, we have also advocated for changes in the law that would help ensure that those who are involved actively in gun violence, which often means that they're involved in ongoing disputes, are held accountable.
Who was her grandfather?
I'm not going to identify him today. I'll let the family decide, when and whether to identify themselves.
Are you able
Yeah.
to tell us how far away Secret was in this protocol of these gentlemen outside?
About 30 feet.
In past years, when gun violence started getting ramped up, you bring together people for a shooting task force. Is the shooting task force active right now?
All of that, I would say, our city has never done more to coordinate amongst law enforcement partners and to coordinate hand in hand with community partners. I don't know that there's ever been a greater partnership both to solve crimes when they happen, both fatal and non-fatal shootings, and I don't think there's ever been a more intense effort to provide support to our community, to support those who have been victims of gun violence, to help intervene with those who are involved in gun violence, to help try to break the cycle of retaliation when that gun violence arises from a dispute in the community. And until yesterday, we've had a very tough couple of years.